Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to talk about how activating your inner thighs or your adductors can help lengthen and decrease tension in your glutes. So if you are struggling with a lot of tightness in your butt muscles or stiffness in your lower glutes, it's very easy to kind of look towards glute stretching or doing things like the figure four stretch and stretching out your piriformis. But actually activating your inner thighs can be a really helpful technique to create space in your glutes. So let me show you why. So your adductors attach from your femur or your thigh bone and they insert onto your ischial tuberosity or part of your pubic rami. And these muscles, if you think about it, help adduct or move your thigh towards your midline. So it's basically going to do this motion. So this motion is when we kind of think about your femur moving onto a stable pelvis. But what you can also think about is your pelvis can also move away. So it can move like this. And this motion can help decrease tension in the back of your glutes. So let me show you how from the back end. So your glutes are attaching from your iliac crest or your ilium and attached to your femur like this. You have glutes that also attach between your sacrum and your ilium here. So they're all kind of like all these back glute muscles. So when these become very tight, it can cause your pelvis to go into this position. And this makes for a very stiff and tight lower butt. And if you have a lot of tension in your lower butt, it's not very comfortable. A lot of people have back pain along with this, and they just feel like it's so tight back there that they keep having to stretch it out. But if you activate your inner thighs, that can help open up and release tension in the back of the pelvis. So I'm going to show you how this can be correlated with an exercise. So we are actually going to do some pelvic tilts. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay on your back and you are going to place two Franklin balls underneath your bottom. So you're going to put these pelvic Franklin balls along your mid glute. So again, you don't want it to be too low, otherwise you'll be tucking. And then you don't want it to be too high, otherwise you'll be arching. So you want it about halfway in between. So oftentimes when people are doing pelvic tilts like this motion, they'll tend to have a lot of tension in their back or they feel very stuck. And that's because when you have a lot of tension in your butt, it's very hard for your sacrum. So it's very hard for this bone to move by itself. It needs to move forward and backward. If you have a lot of tension here, meaning everything is very clenched up, then this won't be able to be free. Everything is kind of like this. Everything is very closed. So that makes for a very stiff pelvis. So one way to help release tension in the back of the pelvis is to activate the inner thighs. So if you are doing some pelvic tilts and you're feeling like it's not very mobile, it's very stiff, it's not moving very well, I want you to grab a yoga block or a cordless ball or a pillow. And all you're going to do is you're going to gently squeeze the cordless ball and you're going to try to do your pelvic tilts. Now, a lot of people, when they do a slight inner thigh or adductor activation, they feel like there's more space here. They feel more mobility. They feel less restriction in the pelvis. They feel like it opens up the back of the pelvis. And again, because by activating your inner thighs, it helps create space in the back of the pelvis. So if you struggle with a lot of tension in the back of your pelvis and you've done a lot of glute stretching and all of that, that's great. But actually, if you can strengthen or activate the antagonist muscle, so the opposite muscle, like your inner thighs, that will help naturally lengthen your glutes in the back of the pelvis. So give that a try and see how that makes you feel. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions.